Rahim. Thanks, Adil, for very generous and kind remarks. Although I'm sure I'm not worthy of all everything we said. But anyhow, first, please allow me to thank the organizers for inviting me and for a really very, very warm hospitality. Yes, and that I will always remember. Yes. But anyhow, I shall be restricting my talk to the prevention, especially in third world or developing countries or middle income countries. Diabetes is an epidemic, as you know. I'll go hurriedly through it. It was recognized as epidemic by IDF, then WHO, but then subsequently by the United Nations. And I dare say I played an important part in it because it started officially with my letter to the Foreign Ministry of Bangladesh to sponsor a resolution in the United Nations, and that was done in 2006, December, passed unanimously. But then we have to remember that this resolution is not a mere piece of paper, you see. The United Nations Secretary General invited all the member states to become aware of this epidemic and they should take prevention program. You see, that was written in that. But you know, this pandemic is mainly due to type 2 diabetes, and we all know it's largely preventable, you see. I shall not go through this data showing that diabetes is in every respect, you see, so many diabetic, but so many pre-diabetic, you see, who are waiting to become diabetic, and there's a lot of diabetic pregnancy in diabetes like that, and a lot of budget for the healthcare due to diabetes. So there is enough reason that we should try to prevent it. To prevent it, we have to understand the pathway of development of diabetes is a combination of gene and environment. Gene is practically not modifiable. I mean, I said practically. I mean, if you are a pedantic scientist, you can think it's modifiable. Like that, if you pass a law that no diabetic should marry a diabetic, like many things, you see. Yeah, but then that is not something acceptable politically. So we say it's not modifiable, but environment is largely human creation and that is correctable, you see. But to understand that, we have to understand simply the pathway of the development of diabetes. You see, when normal people develop insulin resistance, they can overcome it by increasing insulin secretion. But what people inherit is their capacity to secrete insulin. So when people who are genetically predisposed, that is, they have low insulin secreting capacity, if they develop insulin resistance, they can't overcome it and develop type 2 DM. So it is regarded inevitably as a progressive disease, requiring increasing number of medications, then insulin, and eventually insulin, and eventually more and more insulin. This seemingly excoriable deterioration of the glucose control has been interpreted to mean that the condition is treatable, not curable. I think in recent time, there has been a lot of discussion whether we should say that it can also be curable, you see. If pedantically, if we think it's not curable, but if it's reverted, then it gives hope, you see, hope. So some people are saying that if you start working early, it may even be curable, you see. So all the factors for prevention are not known. But we know the lifestyle modification, and there are some prevention which are evidence-based. I'll not go through it. You see, different trials have shown that this is so. That has been lifestyle medication, you see, they have shown that is. And prevention cost is much less than continuing treatment, you see. Preventing through lifestyle cost about this, through metformin cost you can see, and put two together cost you can see. But the problem is how to use the right language, you see, and how to use the right medium for prevention, for motivation. You see, we doctors community, all the people who are now in public health, trying to prevent diabetes, they always say that, well, we have been advising people simply don't listen, you see. This is one side of the story. And to me, it is not the real side of the story. I'll give you an example, you see. Among this audience, please, anybody raise hand who doesn't know that smoking is harmful? So everybody knows smoking is harmful. Secondly, you see, and some of you must have taken a puff in life, you see. And it's very unpleasant to start with. Even it's very harmful, so unpleasant to start with. Still, the cigarette companies are still able to recruit people for smoking, you see. I'm just showing this example. You can say Ronald Reagan smoking. You can see Romans and smoking. You see more doctors smoke, Camels advertisement. You see, this is a very, very famous, the most famous Bengali cinema actor, Uttam Kumar, he is smoking. So, I mean, these cigarette companies have found out the language, what will motivate people, you see. And we simply are no match to them. But if we want to really prevent diabetes, we have to be somewhat matched to them. We have to find out what is the right language and what is the right medium to motivate people, you see. We in Bangladesh have done two social workers, I think, which in developing countries, even for Egypt, you see, this would be an excellent way of working. One project that we did is a preconception care, you see. People start GDM care after they conceive, you see. We thought, why not start at the time of marriage, you see. And all Muslim marriage, you will all agree, is like a business contract. And while this contract is made, if the message is given, then this might work. So we, in Bangladesh, the marriage registrars are called Qazis. So we recruited them. It's a long step, but I'll make short, you see. So we recruited them. They were willing, you see, this, and trained them, and so that they give the message at the time of marriage, you see. And these are in Bengali leaflets, you see, but the message is, this is the training of the Qazis, and then, you see, the idea was that at the time of marriage, the message is the lady should be checked for 6 things before they contemplate pregnancy. And also message is God has given us enough knowledge by which we can plan pregnancy. So no pregnancy should be unplanned, should not be unwanted pregnancy. And this, and the government, we have to take the government on the side and the Qazis Association on the side, and we recruited religious experts to form this the religious message. And then I'll go quickly through it, many visits, but then subsequently, this is one of the scenery. So we made a baseline survey of the knowledge, and we published those baseline survey. I will not go through it. You can see the result about the baseline knowledge, the 10.8, 20.6, 68.6 respectively had poor, average and good knowledge about preconception care. And only 58.2% participants sought preconception care during previous pregnancy. So not all people in, let's say, Bangladeshi situation, they take advice. About 28 participants had previous history of pregnancy-related complications. So on this background we did, I'll go hurriedly through it. We found that prevalence of GDM was 26.4%, increasing age, increasing BMI, increased family history, and previous history of pregnancy-related complication. Lack of physical activity were the related risk factors. And about the Qazis, about 30,000 newly married couple got preconception advice through this program, and 4 million community people got information of the preconception care. And then we followed up, and we found 70% of the women who got this message, they followed our advice, you see. And the government was good enough, they passed a law that this message must be given, and the cabin, the marriage registry document, must carry a seal that this message has been received in those, you see. So they just showing the success story. In fact, this program was selected for a high UN level meeting, you see. So the consensus, we published pre-concept care guideline, and the campaign was, is what is written in Bengali is, healthy mother, healthy child, a prosperous country, and all pregnancies should be planned. So that's the message of the book, you see. And the second program that we have been doing, the diabetes prevention through religious leaders, you see. In all religions, especially Muslim religion, has got very, very strict advice about health, you see. Like nobody should fill their, as written in the book, fill their stomach, you see. They shouldn't have more than 1/3 stomach filled with food, like that, you see. So we thought that recruit the mosque imams to give this message to prevent diabetes through religious sermons. On Friday, they give a sermon which is supposed to be what a good Muslim should do at that time. So we did this. I'll again go quickly through it. And that was the objective, as I say, this training of the people. And then subsequently we thought in Bangladesh, the women don't go to the mosque, you see. So we recruited the imam's wife or a lady from his house who would spread the message, you see, message. So this is the imam project, as we say. And we recruited religious experts to form the khutbah, you see, the sermon. And we sent it to Al-Azhar here in Cairo, where they authenticated this. Because Al-Azhar's fatwa is taken as sort of fatwa in Bangladesh, the official fatwa in Bangladesh. We also sent it to the Grand Imam of the Kaaba, who also authenticated it. So, so ministry supported it. So we have done this, given this in 300,000 mosques, covering 20 million people, you see. Go through it, and we circuited this to all Muslim countries, you see. And we opened a diabetes corner at those 50,000 mosques, but our plan is to open that in every mosque of the country, you see. This is the diabetes corner. So this is, I'll go. And another important thing is the finances, see. So in the end, these two projects we made, although initially the project was supported by World Diabetes Foundation, but we planned it such a way that subsequently it will be self-sustainable, you see. Because the pre-conception advice we give, everything, doctors advise everything, we charge $6 for it, you see, US dollar. That is complete, but then through $6, we are able to make a surplus of $0.5, and then that makes self-sustaining. Similarly, Qazi project is also, the Imam project is also, we made it self-sustainable. So I'll just, so the Imams, they earn about $90 to $120 per month through this. I'll just pass through it. I think I have come to the end of my time. And now we are making a nationalized electronic registry for the whole country. So we will be able to pass the message through that. We have also consulted the Sanatan, the Hindu temple, and they have agreed to pass this message also to them. Also we contacted the Buddhist people, they have agreed, and also the Roman Catholic. In Bangladesh, most of the Christians are Roman Catholic, and so we contacted them. It so happens, luckily, that the Bangladesh has got a cardinal. And the cardinal and I come from the same village. We studied in the school, in the same school. He was 2 years junior to me. So I was able to influence him. And so he called all the bishops and archbishops, and I gave the message to them. And they agreed that they will make this campaign. This thing has been published now. So also goes to baseline survey. Anyhow, I will not go through the statistics of this. I'll leave it for questions, you see. Now we are doing impact study of this thing. should be impact study, should be result should be available within a year, and then it will be available to the all people. You see this. We also have done two more things. We've done many things, but two more things to mention here is that we call it participatory learning cycle. You know, we make groups in the villages, they discuss problem among themselves and then solve the problem. And we found participatory learning cycle can work wonders, actually. You can see the figure, the prevalence of the incidence of diabetes come down. We really did the incidence. It was a study for 5 years. It came down largely. We also did M-Health. And the M-Health that we did, giving message through the mobile phone, and it showed that it increases the awareness, but it did not really lower the incidence rate. Maybe that we have to give more message, but anyhow, that we did. So now to take home message is prevention of diabetes is feasible. But the question is to be able to use the right language and the right medium. For this, we doctors must be aware of our limitation, and also we should think that finding the right language, right media is a very important area of research. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Azad, for this extensive